Hi there, meteorologist Ed Valley here, taking a look at South America, and we're starting here with the last 30 days. It's been dry. Southern Brazil, eastern Argentina, as expected. Really no changes there. It has rained, but it's been light. I mean, western Paraná down into northwestern Rio Grande do Sul really struggling. Only about 25 millimeters, about an inch of rain in the last 30 days. Even the last 15 days, it's been very dry. Bullseye in western Paraná, and you can see the amount of rain there is near zero. We're looking at the MJO here. This is really dating back to the end of November, and it's gone into phase 6 and 7 here. And you wonder, or you ask yourself, do these indices know what the heck they're talking about? And most of the time, they do. Most of the time. This one was a good example where, you look at phase 6 and what that typically yields. It typically yields a wetter southern portions of Argentina, dry southern Brazil and wetter central Brazil. And you notice that's largely what's happened. Southern Argentina wetter in phase 6 December, wetter up in central Brazil, dry southern Brazil and northern Argentina. And as I just showed you there, that's largely what's happened. So there does seem to be some usefulness here to those MJO composites, and we're going to show you why here moving forward. So through the weekend here, I want to start by showing you the rainfall risk. And you're going to notice here it's not very significant in southern Brazil, especially Rio Grande do Sul and Argentina, especially eastern Argentina. You notice through the weekend, though, we are seeing some moisture Paraná northward. You look at all the other models, it's pretty much the same. The Canadian and the GFS, it's really central Brazil seeing the heaviest rains, very spotty stuff to the south. That's not great. It's not. And, I've gotten some questions and some commentary saying, hey, well, things look wetter in the 8 to 14 day. Well, they do, but that doesn't mean it's perfect, right? You see here the GFS in the 5 to 10 day is wetter in Brazil and northern Argentina. You look at this model, the European, and you notice similarly, it is a little wetter in the 5 to 10 days. So the first 5 days of January are going to be better. But you got to remember here, think about anywhere else with agriculture. You get a 10-day look that's like this. That's a hot pattern in Argentina and southern Brazil. So the evaporation rates are going to be high. The moisture is going to be needed here, right? So it's not just that, right? The GFS model here, I'll show you, is a little bit wetter in the 5 to 10 day. Yeah, that's in relation to an MJO pulse that's coming through in phase 7. But you notice the Canadian and the European still pretty dry in southern Argentina. And again, there is going to be some moisture. So it's not a bone dry forecast, but it's important we use context here. And the other thing we're concerned about is look at the 10 to 15 day on all the data. Let me show you that real quick. Back to the same exact pattern we were just talking about. Central and eastern Argentina, southern Brazil, Euro, Canadian, and GFS. The only thing here that is really up in the air in my mind is how much moisture gets into western Argentina and how much moisture gets into Paraná and parts of Mato Grosso do Sul. Modeling is fairly keen on rain in Mato Grosso do Sul, parts of Sao Paulo and northern Paraná, but you go south, it's pretty tough. So that's going to be a talking point moving forward. The other thing just to note here, and I'm not going to go too detailed into this, but it does look like the heat is going to subside a little bit into the beginning of January. That should be helpful. Now, again, you look at the angular momentum, we're positive. So when you look at the MJO, as we said, we're going into phase 7 here. Phase 7 is fairly wet in western Argentina and central Brazil. You see that? Phase 7, that kind of leans into our 16 to 30 day forecast. It's pretty wet in central Brazil. It's wet in western Argentina, but it is still dry eastern Argentina, southern Brazil. You see that? That aligns with a lot of the data. That aligns with our MJO correlations here and our composites. It is still concerning to me in Rio Grande do Sul, parts of southern Paraná, and eastern and central Argentina. Again, maybe far to the west, we do get some better moisture. We'll see how that kind of plays out into the middle of January. But again, there is room for concern here for dryness to linger in Argentina, especially central and east and southern portions of Brazil as we move into the middle of the month. So again, the models are trending a little bit wetter as we head into, this 5 to 10 day period, the first 5 days of January. But again, we got to be on the lookout for this La Nina pattern to continue to rear its head right through the first 10 days of January, especially as we get past perhaps that wetter interlude to start the month. So that's what we're going to be looking at here moving forward. If you have questions, just let us know.